Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this fine Sunday morning. I thought I'd stand today just because it's I've still not sorted that. Anyway, got to say good morning to everyone in the chat first of all. Good morning to Stephen Johnson. Good morning to Paul, CFC Jack, Jim Lister, James, Thomas, McLaughlin, and a few others that are in the chat this morning, nice and early. Well, Celtic, Alistair Johnson has taken to Instagram. We will talk about a player whose agent is in Scotland. Liam Fisher's in the town as well. How are you this morning, Liam? We're going to jump over to the land of Instagram first of all this morning. I look like shit because the kittens had me up 3 times in the night last night. Yes, Paulo Bernardo. Let's jump over to the land of Instagram first because there's a couple of things that I want to speak about with players. Paulo Bernardo, 3 days ago, he posted this talking about his June, how he spent his June. He was obviously at a wedding, Paulo looking like Paulo, and that was him on holiday, reminiscing about the downtime. What a view with that pool. Honestly, that is just, I get that, mate. I get it. It's cool. And then he's been at a concert, time with some friends, and there's his wee woman, and there he is sweating his self off, and then there's this. Is that his Doug? I think that's his Doug back home in Portugal. And that was Paulo at a training camp during the summer. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has taken to Instagram. He's shown that he's still working out in the gym in Portugal. He's getting ready. Don't know, it's funny because there's right, no, down, calf, down, get, Jesus, God, I swear to God, never will get it. Paulo Bernard, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oh, cats. Oxlade-Chamberlain in Portugal doing some stretching. And it's mental because I'm not the type of person that's frequented the gym over a lot of years, but the power of stretching is just, yeah. And there's Oxlade-Chamberlain confirmed by Celtic. Chris Sutton over in the World Cup. Lewis Palmer, he's gone. Anthony Joseph. Where's Alistair Johnson disappeared to? That's who I was looking for. And it's gone. It's Lagerbielke. Oh, the one that... Thank you, Canada. Alistair Johnson 11 hours ago. There we go. He knows that his World Cup is over. And that's just Oxlade-Chamberlain. Right, let's just make sure that pause that. I'm going to jump over to the land of transfer market. It looks like the agent of Camilo Duran is in Glasgow, speaking to Celtic. He is worth around about €2 million. Celtic will be mucking about as per normal, trying to get the player for a lot cheaper. Player from Karabakh, from Colombia, South American player. It's been said that he's not necessarily an out-and-out striker, but he plays more on the wing. The business model seems to be wait until the last day, pay the odds, trying to sign the likes of Mvuka completely incompetent. We'll get into that in a minute or so. I think that we need to just... I think that I've said it before. I think that Martin O'Neill being on holiday and then coming back from holiday a couple of days before we started back pre-season training. Got to remember, when Martin's on holiday, I don't think anything's getting done at Celtic. No decisions are getting made without Martin being there. We've complained long enough about, things not getting done in the right way. But then when you want things to happen, you have to understand if we start signing players when Martin's out the country on holiday, then you start questioning stuff. I think the fact that Martin's been back, I mean, you've seen the picture. Do I have the picture from yesterday? 2 seconds. This was Martin O'Neill at training yesterday. And Do you know, it's got to be said. I mean, Martin O'Neill, he's not taking part in the training. He's sitting away on the sidelines, watching Fozzie, watching McManus, watching the new guy take the training sessions, and Martin O'Neill's watching the players. That's a good manager. You know, and I think that Martin will be looking at the players, looking at the pace, seeing what they're doing in training. And sometimes you're better stepping. I think it's fantastic management from Martin O'Neill. You know, he'll be sitting back, he'll be looking at the players that we have, he'll be looking at the way that they're training. You know, you're talking about a lifetime of experience with Martin O'Neill. And I think that fans need to just relax a bit because we know that Martin knows a good player when he sees one. He knows that he just needs to look at the training sessions and he goes, right, we need to improve in this area. We need to do this. Is he good enough? Is he going to be, is he what I want for the Champions League? Martin will be asking himself a lot of questions. And the fact that he can take time to step back from the training sessions and watch from afar and just analyse what's going on, you know, saying, right, who looks as if they're in the mood to really impress me? And this is what a really good manager does, you know, and I think that let him get the players in that he wants. And the big question is, I've got a poll question running already this morning, and the poll question is: we're about to sell a couple of players this summer, and we're about to bring in the best part of £50 million just by selling two players. Will Celtic go out and spend £10 million on one player this summer? That's the poll question this morning. Do you think that Celtic will go out and spend in the region of 10 million for one player? Remember, we spent over 10 million on Arne Engels. If we go on and sell Arne Engels for 25 to 30 million, there's one person that will be sitting smirking, and that's Ange Postecoglou. Because Ange Postecoglou said there's no difference between buying a player at 10 million and selling them on for 20, 25. Get off my leg, you 25 to 30 million. And if that's what we do with Arne Engels, Ange will be saying, I told you so. Martin O'Neill will then be saying, right, is there a player out there that's in the 10 million? 10 million's nothing for a player. I know that we're going in cheap this summer and we seem to be spending, we're spending very little so far. But with the money that Celtic have, will they go out and spend serious money in a Scottish perspective, maybe not in world football perspective, but will Celtic go out and bring in a player at 10 million plus? They might bring in two. You never know. Might even bring in three. There's a big turnaround in players that we know needs to come in. Casper Ho would be expensive now, people saying. Martin will try and convince them. Only question is, will we get them before other teams do? I don't think that I don't think that the Celtic fan base or Celtic fan media know every single target that we're looking at. I think that Celtic, I mean, the Duran one, that came out of thin air. Nobody expected us to be going for him. So Celtic are doing their work in the background, and we'll just need to wait to the end of the transfer window. I swear to God, I'm going to kill the both of you. Get off me. My leg isn't a climbing pole. Right, let's jump into the comments this morning before these cats scrape my legs to bits. That's it, just fight each other. We complain about being cheap, then complain about spending much on Engels and Adam Ida, saying Anton Rogan's left foot. This is very true. I think that you can't please fans. They complain about spending too much, and they see that there's not a value. I think that Adam Ida was value for money. He scored 29 goals. Has Arne Engel been value for money? You could say that that's maybe a little bit questionable. Has he? I think that he's achieved what Celtic wanted him to achieve. Has he progressed as a player? Maybe around about 5%. I don't think that there's been a vast increase in what we've done to Arne Engels. Statistically, it might be maybe a 5%, 10% increase in times touched, whatever. But I don't think so. I'm not too sure. He has done his homework. He's done his homework when it comes to modern football. Absolutely no chance Celtic will pay 10 million on any player. Oh, we need to screenshot that one just in case Thomas is sitting at the end of the window going. Looks like he's mulling over who to keep. It does, doesn't it? I mean, when you look at Martin O'Neill, he's like, right. Well, you're shite. You're shite. You're shite. You're shite. And you're shite. Maybe that's what he's thinking inside of his house. That's the face of an intense concentration. It is, isn't it? I think Martin O'Neill should take the reins with the signing of players. Like when Tommy Burns used, it's a different day. It's a different era, isn't it? So it's a way different era compared to modern football management. You know, they don't call football managers anymore. They call them first team coaches because everything's been delegated. Everything's been delegated to the hierarchy of the club. And is it holding, well, at Celtic, it isn't, does it? Because really you should be holding account to the people who are doing the transfer negotiations when they go completely tits up and they fail. There is no... Dermot Desmond isn't saying, well, how did that deal fuck up? You would like to think that there's conversations going on at Celtic with a Zoom call, if you like, with Martin O'Neill going, right, I'm sorry, but I wanted that player. I spoke to him on the phone. He wanted to come to Celtic, but Nicholson and Mackay fucked it up. We need to sort this, Dermot. Do you think that kind of thing goes on at Celtic? According to the hierarchy at Celtic, they said that they're learning from last year's mistakes. We'll soon find out because we do have a game. We do have a game in just a couple of days' time. We do have one player in the house already, a player that was around last season. I think that I think it's a good deal, personally. I didn't think that Martin O'Neill would want to go for him, but when you look at the players that could potentially be leaving Celtic this summer, Arne Engels, Rio Hatate, Daisen Maeda. You know, you don't want to be bringing in players that do not get the club at all. So I think getting the Oxlade and Chamberlain over the line, whilst he might not be as fit as he was, or as fast, well, he'll be as fit, but as fast as he was 5-6 years ago, you know, it happens to the best of us. I still think that his experience alone would be fantastic for Celtic going into the Champions League. And I still think that if he does get Celtic into the Champions League, I don't think he'll get us into the Champions League single-handedly, but it will be worth every penny, you know. And we complain. We complain as fans. We've complained that Celtic don't get things done quick enough. And people will say, well, we should have had the Oxlade Chamberlain one done weeks ago. It was a no-brainer. It was the easiest deal to be done on ever. Anyway, Celtic are 2 days, 8 hours and 45 minutes from the first watch along of the summer. As Celtic take on Shelbourne in Ireland, it's believed that Celtic are travelling over to Ireland today so they can have a training day on Monday and then play the game on Monday evening. But before you say it, this will be... is this European time or is it Ireland time? I'm not even sure anymore. It's Sunday morning, so don't quote me on anything. Right, let's jump back into some of the comments because David Moyes, it's coming out of England that David Moyes really wants Daisen Maeda. It looks like there could be a bit of a battle for the signature. It was claimed last night that another club were really looking for Daisen Maeda to sign with them. It's looking like Everton and David Moyes really wants to bring Daisen Maeda to Everton. So I think once the Daisen can't go out with the likes of Brentford. Celtic have set a price of around 15 to 20 million. I think that 20 million is I think 15 million is a fair price for a player from Scotland with 1 year left on his contract. If we get 20 million, we sell Arne Engels for 25 to 30 million. There's your 50 million with the 5 million we've already brought in this summer. Most teams have a squad size of 30. We currently have 29. We need to sell Rio, Maeda, and a few others before we sign anyone significant. I swear to God, what are you two doing? Does the board know that they dramatically change Celtic term? Oh, Jesus. Oi, oi, oi. Martin will convince them. The only question is, will we get them before other teams do, says young kid keeper. Red card for the kittens. You're not joking. They're using, I've got shorts on. My green Adidas shorts, not Celtic shorts, but and they're using my leg as a climbing frame this morning. Kitten claws. No chance they'll be looking to close the purse after spending same price as a GAT cost us. I don't think so. I don't think that look is a man that is entirely convinced of the squad. Hence the reason that Kelechi Iheanacho wasn't given a contract by Celtic. We'll be buying no one at this rate. Better move and start bringing in players. If we do sign one player for 10 million, it has to be a striker, not a winger. Stroke striker, just a striker. And Suggs is here for the doom and gloom in the comments. There you go, Suggs. I don't think there's much doom and gloom in the comments this morning, but I'm not reading them all. Can't see the board spending big money. I think that the board are going to really surprise us. I think that Martin O'Neill will look at the level of player and Martin O'Neill will say, we need to bring in a player of a certain quality for the Champions League. Martin O'Neill's not going to go in with one hand tied behind his back like this. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to go into if he wants one last crack at the Champions League at his age, he wants to go in, and he doesn't want to go in and just be the manager that's just there for the shits and giggles. Martin O'Neill's going to want to prove that there's life in the old dog yet, as they say. And Martin O'Neill proved last year that he could get some good results with the limited resources that Celtic had. He'll want to go out and improve on that. He'll want to go out on a high. It's just a shame that you don't drop down into the Europa like you used to do in the old days and get a fantastic run to Europa. I don't know what he's fighting for. Yeah. I've never had a Colombian at Celtic. There's plenty of Colombian at Celtic, trust me. You just walk around the stands after the games. Martin O'Neill will be looking at youth as well. He always used youth in his teams. Yeah, but he'll be looking at them as the squad. I don't think that he will be looking at the likes of Dane Murray and Colby Donovan and thinking, can they step up to the mark on a regular basis? I think that they can. He'll be looking at some of the other younger players and he'll be having a serious thinking going, you really need to be in and around the squad this year, and how do you get the balance from bringing a young player in, winning every single game, must-win scenarios? The league is a completely different kettle of fish from when Martin O'Neill was here the first time. Martin O'Neill could have a squad of pretty much 30-odd players, and he would have 5 or 6 youth team players in and around the squad on a daily basis, knowing that he could put them into games now and then. With the must-win every single game, with the pressure now at Celtic to win trebles, that's where the manager feels the pressure. Martin O'Neill won a treble his first time round at Celtic, and everyone didn't expect it to be the norm, because the last time that we had won a treble was under Jock Stein. And maybe Martin O'Neill is looking at the players and going, Don't know what are they thinking. And Anton Rogan's left foot said, "Who can I trust, Luke?" The board will infest the squad that will try to win the league. Europe is just a bonus now. Ralston getting a deal? I'm not too sure. Martin Neal looks pissed off. Doesn't. I'm going to jump straight to the end of the comments. Apologies. Stephen Johnson says, "Be nice to the animal." It's animals, and you've got two cats trying to climb up your leg. It's Big Rab says, "Baz is dreaming. The board will let Martin O'Neill down. They're just collecting a wage." Ha ha! Tell me about it. These kittens are some laugh. Aye. I look like I've went through I've ran through jaggy nettles just for the fun of it. Just running through the comments. Get this kitten signed. Well, I had one of them playing football yesterday, and I'll tell you one thing: they're probably just as fast as James Forrest. Just get Lila, Just, Elliot Watt, Sriracha, Duran, and Matt Tawanda signed, said James. The board of miserable, greedy. Sunday morning. Just more info on Alfie Devine. We'll see if that one happens. But the big news this morning is it looks like that Celtic are in talks with Camilo Duran's agent. It's been said yesterday on a few Celtic sites that the player's agent is in Scotland, the Colombian attacker's agent in Glasgow, to iron out the finer details of any move to Celtic. A transfer fee has not reportedly been agreed by Celtic and Karabakh. Celtic will be trying to get him cheap as anything. Stephen got it right. I am kind to them. They woke me up 3 times last night lying on my chest. You wake up and there's getting there. Anyway, Alistair Johnson out the World Cup last night after 3-0 defeat by Morocco. He's taken to Instagram just to say thank you, Canada, and that's it. David Moyes wants a Celtic player. There seems to be an awful lot of talk about the Kieran Bowie situation. Is there Celtic are going to have to look at Scottish players? Do you think that Celtic would pay 10 million for Kieran Bowie, a Scotland player? The thing is, when you look at it, there is a player that came to Celtic from Dundee, and he has just been given a contract extension in Saudi Arabia. He played for Scotland at the World Cup. Celtic bought him from Dundee for pennies. Realistically, I can't even remember how much it was, and then we sold him on. I think we sold him for a couple of million or something. He was then sold on for about 10 million. Are Celtic selling Scottish players too cheap? And ultimately, what Scottish player would you like to see at Celtic this year? Kieran Bowie, 10 million, young lad for Kirkcaldy. We should have got him when he was at Hibs. He was sold from Hibs from 6 million. Celtic didn't agree on the price. Celtic will have to change their attitudes if they want to get the best. A lot of people have saying bring in more players from Scotland, buy up the best players in Scotland. If Celtic are to do that, if Celtic were to do that, they would need to pay the asking price. And some clubs think that they're pricing Celtic out the market. It's just a fair price for their players. Jim Lister says Roy Aitken for the Scotland job with Duncan Ferguson. He says Duncan Ferguson will, mate, you come out with some crackers. Duncan Ferguson working for Scotland. You having a laugh? Come on, Jim. Have you forgotten the history between Duncan Ferguson and the Scottish FA? There is no chance on earth that Duncan Ferguson would work for the same Scottish Football Association that got him jailed. Not a chance. Not a chance. That's it, Baz. A bit of Celtic positivity. Too much gloom and doom. Celtic pods at the moment. Yes, pay 9.5 million for Bowie. Is there a lot of gloom and doom? Like I say, I don't have time to watch them because I'm that busy. And people say, "Oh, you're bound to watch them." I don't. I am that busy work-wise. And there are no Scottish boys good enough to sign for us. If they're as good enough, they're not coming here, says Delboy67. Kid Keeper says there's new players in the house. Hat McGregor. Hat Persmichael. Kieran tears me. I'll just leave now, won't I, after that? Oh man, you can tell it's Sunday morning. Give it another 10 years. Where's the youth coming from then? I think in another. There are youth coming through at clubs in Scotland, and I think that Celtic, unfortunately, are 2 or 3 years away from youth coming through. But anyway, Celtic are pricing themselves out of players. Meaning that we're going in with too low a bid straight away, and we don't see the value of a player. I take it. Duncan Ferguson walked out on Scotland Mind. Yeah, he walked out in Scotland after he got jailed. You've got to remember that. You got jailed for headbutting another player. You headbutt a player now and you get sent off. That's it. You don't get sent to jail. Duncan Ferguson had every right to tell Scotland to go do one. Anyway, everyone hit the thumbs up. It says Stephen Johnston, who's been bossing the chat this morning. Only Scottish players I would sign is Lewis Ferguson. Really? Do you rate Lewis Ferguson? He was crap at Aberdeen against us. I think he's got lucky in Italy. But I don't think that there's no chance of him coming to us anyway. He's from the other side of this. City isn't the set piece guy a youth development guy as well? I think so. He sounds like an East Coaster. Where is he from? As the dog's now gone to sleep. We aren't signing Bowie. That ship has cost too much. Iceberg. Tell the agent to pick Sarachi up on the way. Yeah, bring Sarachi with you, mate. I think he's the best Scottish midfielder. He's better than McGinn, and he's better than McTominay. Oh, considering McTominay went for big money. Then Angling Ayrshire says that Lewis is overrated. I think so, personally. I think that McTominay's having a better time in Italy than Lewis Ferguson. When the presenter asked Duncan Ferguson, where was it? When the presenter asked Duncan Ferguson if he was interested in the Scotland job capacity himself, he said he would give it serious consideration. And then go, fuck you. What do you want? Wasn't the headbutt. It was his Poundland receipt for previous. Lewis Ferguson only looked good as everyone else was shite at the World Cup. And then, what's the goalie doing? Alila, just. He's not Scottish though, is he? Talking about Scottish players. Anyway, right, that is me done and dusted for this Sunday morning. Looks like Celtic are going to be in serious action this week on and off the pitch. With the first game of pre-season just days away, we will get to see Celtic and Martin O'Neill back on our Celtic TVs, which is absolutely fantastic because Celtic are 2 days, 8 hours and 28 minutes and 55, should have said 56. 56, it was 56, but it's gone. 2 days, 8 hours and 28 minutes away from the first game of pre-season, where we get to look at the players that we don't have in the door just yet. And when we get to look at the squad and go, now remember, pre-season is always just the first pre-season game is always just completely garbage, isn't it? It's a case of it's a kickabout. Although Celtic did have a kickabout at Celtic Park the other day, it's the first pre-season one is always a hard watch. So don't get too despondent when you're watching the game and you're like, it's fucking just pre-season pish, man. It's pre-season pish. Think of all the fans that have travelled from wide and far to the sellout game in Dublin at Tolka Park. And then after that, Celtic head over to Portugal. Head over to Portugal. There's quite a few people heading over for that. What if it's the same as last year? The way the board. I don't think that the fans will roll over and get their belly tickled this year. What channel's the game on? It'll be on Celtic TV, the channel. It's not Celtic TV anymore, is it? It's the Celtic Player. Still Celtic TV. Anyway, a lot of people saying hello to Stephen Johnson. I hope you're enjoying your summer. Glorified training session in these games. That's it. That's all they are in the summer. It doesn't get really to the nitty gritty until you start playing Middlesbrough, and even the AC Milan game will be a kickabout because the manager will be changing tactics, looking at as many players as he can, and that's what pre-season is all about. It's about picking out the players that he thinks will do well for Celtic. There will be players that will come through the youth system that may stand out during this pre-season. This is the chance for the younger ones, even your Paulo Bernardos, etc., to stand up and be noticed. You put in the work now. And Bahazar, you're watching Mexico, England, and supporting Mexico. Yes, they'll be supporting Mexico. They speak Spanish after all. Oh, I'm just. Where is Balak Wisher? He's still training, mate. He's still there. He's still training away at Celtic. Just need to wait and see what happens. Celtic TV equals Celtic Player. Same name, same. Yeah, different name, same shite. We'll soon find out. And anyway, the Shelbourne game is on Premier Sports 2. Says Paul Baird. Good morning to you, Paul. How are you this morning? There you go. It's on Premier Sports 2 as well. So for you that don't have legal Celtic TV and you can't get it in the country, it's on Premier Sports 2. You can't even speak Fifer. I've never had a Fife accent. Green for go. Never had a Fifer accent. Anyway, right, that's been done and dusted for this morning. Hopefully there is a bit of nice Celtic information coming through this afternoon. I did ask a poll question this morning. Will Celtic spend more than 10 million on one player this summer? Oof, fans are very negative in the comments this morning with it. Yes, 39%. I've got to say, I'm with the 39%. I think that Celtic will spend at least 10 million on one player. 61% said no. Ooh. Not trusting the board at all, are we, this morning? Anyway, there's been over 2,000 people on the first thing in the morning for a nice half an hour. Jesus, it's been busy, isn't it? It's great to be back. I am buzzing for the game on. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm seriously happy to be back watching Celtic. The World Cup's fine and everything, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of us are watching the World Cup a bit like Martin O'Neill. Have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. And I just believe that damn, I've cocked up this morning. Have a fantastic day wherever you are, all around the world.